Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Abroad, Broad, Abroad. My name is Nancy MacLaren and I'm the broad that went abroad. And it's been really strangely hot and full of pollen here in Portland the last week or so I look a little wrecked. Sorry about that, like you care. Anyway, we're going to just talk about the Ring of Kerry today. The Ring of Kerry is a day trip that we took outside of Cork, and you'll see the map here. It'll show you exactly kind of where it goes. But we booked the trip. It was a full day in a bus, and we booked it with Cork City Tours, which was the people that also ran the hop-on, hop-off bus. And what I can say is it was great. They were wonderful people, but the first thing I noticed was there was no bathrooms on the bus. And this is the only time, the whole time we were in Europe, that there wasn't a bathroom either on the bus or the train or whatever. And I have to be honest and say I have had IBS since I was about 14 and have been on many trips where it's acted up. And part of the reason it acts up sometimes is when I get nervous because there's no bathroom. And I also thought, how can you take a group of older people on an all-day trip, with no bathroom? It made no sense. Yeah, so anyway, here we're going to the Ring of Kerry. And as you can see, the Ring of Kerry starts in Cork, goes all the way around and goes to Killarney. It is absolutely some of the most gorgeous scenery I've ever seen in my life. So the first stop on the tour was to the Bog Village in Glenbeigh. I guess that's how you call it. But it's a reenactment of, it's an old village. It's actually an old village, and they've just redone it, kept it up, and you can tour around. And so they have a little museum there, and they have, as you can see, thatched roof this, and it was kind of cool. And you went into like the weaver shop, and it showed you how they wove, and it was very dark and very interesting. But they did have the Kerry Bog ponies, so we actually did get to see the ponies. It was a nice enough day the ponies were out. And then the big thrill, of course, was going to the Red Fox Inn when all of the buses stop and you go in, and then they're serving Irish coffee, and they'll have just, the bar will be full of Irish coffee, so they're just ready for you. And you go in and you buy your Irish coffee, and you can take it, walk around with it. You can have as much as you want because you're not driving. It was delightful. And there was gift shops, and it was really, really a fun little excursion. So I was pretty pleased with the Bog Village, and we got back into the bus, and we headed out, and we went along the Atlantic coast. And along the Atlantic coast, there is some amazing, amazing scenery, as you can see here. And there's a couple of really special things that are on that trip. And one of them is this little town called Waterville. And Waterville is where Charlie Chaplin used to go on vacation. So they have made this big statue and thing to Charlie Chaplin, which is really that's nice, that's cool. Anyway, the big thing that happened to me in Waterville was, in most of the places where we went, you got out of the bus right where they had the concrete for the sidewalk, but not here for some reason. Here you needed to step onto the ground and then up on the sidewalk. Well, I didn't know that, so I just, instead of walking anywhere, I just went straight into the sidewalk face first. It was pretty sad. I mean, it was fourth day of my trip, and my dignity was quite bruised. People were, I felt like the old lady, the old broad lady that fell out on her face. And so I did what I do, which is get up and go, I'm fine, leave me alone. So we limped over, and Lena and I took pictures of ourselves with Charlie Chaplin, none of which I have, but it was fun anyway, and it was a beautiful little town. And then we got back on the bus, and then there was the next big thing that I really wanted to see, which was the Skellig Islands. So those of you have seen the last two Star Wars movies have seen one of the Skellig Islands, Skellig Michael. And you probably notice from the steps going up, these are the steps that that Rey takes to go find Luke Skywalker. And they also use the little village here as part of the village of where he lived. This is actually a real village. I mean, this was it was where the monks lived, and it's still there now. The thing was, I knew we were going to do this, and so I had brought binoculars just to see Skellig Michael. And so typical of Ireland, it was a beautiful day, beautiful, but there was mist and you could not see a thing. You could not see the Skellig Michael. You couldn't see any Skellig anything. But our guide was pointing like, "Oh, out there is where," and I was so disappointed, and I felt I think the guide thought I was a little bit of a twerp. It's like this crazy American woman got all freaked out because she didn't get to see her Star Wars thing. Anyway, I was sad. I didn't use the binoculars for the whole rest of the trip. So then we went to this wonderful little place called Sneem, and it's really a beautiful, beautiful little town. As you can tell, there were so many of these beautiful little towns that I did not, it was almost impossible to, you couldn't get out and see all of them. And it's like this. So on my trip that I'm going back in September, Suzanne and I are going to do this again, and we're going to go into some of these wonderful little places. And there's one thing I would really like to see in Kilgorn. They have this thing called the Puck Fair, and it's this goat. He's the Puck King or something. I don't know. It sounds eccentric, but apparently lots of people come, and I would like to go at some point. It ends by going to the town of Killarney, which is a really beautiful little place. Wished I had could spend hours there, could spend a day there probably, and maybe we will, because you can see it's just a little bit bigger, but it's still so quaint and so sweet. And then we were back on the bus, and we went through a series of these wonderful little villages. I thought that I would show you some of them. This one here is Kenmore. The next one is going to be, I can't even say it, Cathardaniel. This one is so cute. It's called Port Magee, and it's a little fishing village, and oh God, it's so cute. Then they took us to Cahersiveen, as you can see is more in a valley. Then we went to Kells. There's actually a place called Kells, and the last place we went was Beaufort. Isn't that pretty? And so that was our Ring of Kerry trip, and we spent one more morning in Cork, but then we were on the train off to our next destination, which was Galway. Now, a lot of people say, why didn't you go to Kiss the Blarney Stone? Because we were right there. That's what you do at the Ring of Kerry. You go to but we were told it was a huge tourist trap and that we would be there forever, and neither of us really cared about kissing a stupid stone. So we didn't go, but maybe we'll go next time. I mean, I'm already full of Blarney, so I don't need to kiss no stone to be full of Blarney. That's the Irish in me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little trip to the Ring of Kerry. Next week, Galway, and until then, thank you for watching. Bye.